Sorry, I'm here. No trigger warning this morning. Yeah, Cassie, the old computer said not right this second. Try again. um, so, losing our way only to find it again. All right. Good morning, Francine. Sue Ellen from Paris, thank you for joining us. Honest Rage, Trinity, Miss L, Lysage. Don't let me butcher that. So, shouts out to Cam and them, right? Hooah. The Dykes girl. She popped up in Cam's live last night. So that's good stuff. That's why we do this. Now, what do we do when we lose our way? Who can we lean on when we lose our way? Who can point us back due north and get us back on a true path? Well, we can. We can make those fine-tooth adjustments to get ourselves back on track. But we do it only after we ask God to assist us in getting us back on track. Hooah. It's nothing we can do on our own. We can try to do it on our own, but that doesn't mean it's going to stick. See, it's all about making it stick, right? So, I can tell you this morning, I've spoken with Don. Don is currently sitting in a chapel somewhere getting his spirit fed. That's a beautiful thing this morning. Hooah, hooah. That is a beautiful thing. Let me tell you why. I asked Don, I was like, Don, do you feel shunned by the church? And he was like, I don't necessarily feel shunned, but I feel like it's been made very clear that my presence is somewhat of an anchor, a burden on people. That's how he feels at the church, right? A lot of these people from the church, Miss Robin, the pastor, David Dobson, a lot of these people have had things done to them by the YouTube they could only read about in the Bible, right? Hooah. Hooah. Witch hunts, right? Foul armies of sodomites just dissecting your family, right? So who do you lean on in times when there seems to be no one in the physical realm that you can lean on? God. That's who, right? Hooah. Hooah. So I've got another little 7-minute inspirational for us this morning. It's by the same guy, S.M. Lockridge. Okay. It's a good one. Okay. This one is called, actually, no, that's not it. I don't want to do Sundays Coming yet. Yeah. Actually, we will do Sundays Coming this morning because it's Saturday. And it is so strong. Okay. Then I have another one I want to watch. It's 7 minutes. So this is by S.M. Lockridge. It is called It's called Sundays a Coming. Sundays a Coming. This is an excerpt from a longer sermon that he did, but this is just so powerful. Listen to this.
It's Friday. Jesus is praying. Peter's asleep. Judas is betraying. But Sunday's coming. It's Friday. Pilate's struggling. The council is conspiring. The crowd is vilifying.
The crowd is
They
vilifying.
don't even know that Sunday's coming. It's Friday. The disciples are running like sheep without a shepherd. Mary's crying. Peter is denying. But they don't know that Sundays are coming. It's Friday. The Romans beat my Jesus. They robe him in scarlet. They crown him with thorns. But they don't know that Sunday's coming. It's Friday. See Jesus walking to Calvary. His blood dripping. His body stumbling. And his spirit's burdened. But you see, it's only Friday. Sunday's coming. It's Friday. The world's winning. People are sinning. And evil's grinning. It's Friday. The soldiers nailed my Savior's hands to the cross. They nailed my Savior's feet to the cross. And then they raised him up next to criminals. It's Friday. But let me tell you something.
Sunday's coming.
It's Friday. The disciples are questioning what has happened to their king. And the Pharisees are celebrating that their scheming has been achieved. But they don't know it's only Friday. Sunday's coming. It's Friday. He's hanging on the cross, feeling forsaken by his Father, left alone and dying. Can nobody save him? Oh, it's Friday, but Sunday's coming. It's Friday. The earth trembles. The sky grows dark. My King yields his spirit. It's Friday. Hope is lost. Death has won. Sin has conquered. And Satan's just a laugh. It's Friday. Jesus is buried. A soldier stands guard. And a rock is rolled into place. But it's Friday. It is only Friday. Sunday is a coming.
Sunday is a coming. Sunday is coming. So, you know, a lot of people may give me grief about this, but I see Don. What do we know about Job? Right? What do we know about Job? Right? Job lost everything, right? Job lost everything, his flock, his family, everything. So I'm going to tell you something how I see it. In the very beginning, Don started talking about the way that Jesus was persecuted, the way that the followers of Jesus were persecuted. And this man, he had his Jesus weaponized against him. They tried to take his job. If he loses his job, he loses his chariots, he loses his horses, he loses his flock, he loses his children. He's lost all his children. Right? Job did say, the Lord giveth and the Lord will taketh away. But what did he give Job in the end? Give it all back to him plus some? How many fold extra? So Don made a lot of comments that people were like, oh, look, he's trying to qualify himself next to Jesus. That's not what Don was doing. Let me tell you what Don was doing. Don was merely showing you his faith, how much he knows about the Bible. And what he was doing was he was showing a parallel in the way that he's been treated and the things that have happened to him and the way Christians have been treated and persecuted and killed. Do we live in America? Do we live in an America now where you can have your child taken from you? You can have the public at large threaten, harass, make attempts of whatever nature on your property. And then when you try to fill your spiritual cup with God, they tell you you're hiding behind it. Let me tell you what. Not a man with physical flesh yet has found that little girl or even found one tip that we know about. Who? So who do you think the man who is going to solve all of this, who does that man get his power from? That man or woman gets his power from God. So if online you try to remove and strip and weaponize someone's Jesus against them and then want a man to run in the woods with no Jesus in his heart either and find this little girl. So does the searcher or searchers who find this little girl, whenever they find her, if they have Jesus in their heart, you're going to make fun of them too? Is that what you're telling me you're going to do? Huh? Who-ah? Don serves a different church. Don serves a church where they go to church on Saturday and they take Sunday off. The rest of us, we hustle and bustle and do what the hell we want to do on Saturday. And then we try to slide in on church on Sunday, maybe catch it online, whatever. But really just worrying about the things we've got to do after church to get ready for the week, like grocery shop, get the kids in order, haircuts, so on and so forth, right? So how much time are you giving back to God? And is the time you're giving back to him, is it unabated? Is it manipulated by the physical world and the pressures from the physical world? Is that what your time with God looks like? Because I'll tell you what, it's an awful lot of people out here trying to tell you and the rest of everybody else how they think they know Don serves his Lord. Who-ah? Who-ah? So if that means you know all about Don's spiritual cup and what that contains, if you know that much about the inside of that man, then why don't you know where that little girl is? Who-ah? Who-ah? Don says we're living in the last days. People say, yeah, we're not. Listen to him. He's hiding behind the church. We are living in the last days. It never specified in the Bible how long that period being called the last days would actually be. They never specified. Look, we got New York City flooding, earthquakes. The shit is going down, right? Now we we got homegrown terrorists every fucking where. You'll hear about them. They try not to pump them so that they don't incite the public, right? I just had one 0.8 miles away from my house. I had a terrorist run into a police station, open fire on an unarmed administrator, only to then be responded to by several wonderful Plano police who then exterminated and took that man's life. Hoo-ah. Hoo-ah. It's everywhere, guys. The fight now is to not fall in to the idolatry, to all of the sin that's going on with a lot of these people online that call this work. How does it work? How do we get off on dragging SA victims and knowing their name? Like, we know who these people are. What we've allowed to have happen is however many women there are, we've got names for these women. And now these women have been opened up their lives by Chris M. And he didn't tell them when they started this, there's going to be people out there that are proponents for the Wells who will now start tearing you up. It's happening. It's happening. Why would Chris M want to open up women to further victimization that they're not even aware was coming? Do you want to know how many women hold on, guys, put a 1 in the chat right now for Chris M if you've been triggered by one or all of his videos referring to SA. Put a 1 in the chat if you've been triggered. Don't worry, I'll wait. Stay for Love 21. Go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Chris M. Right here. Them ones, man. Those are all the women that you've triggered with this talk. These women all have voices. They have names. They have backgrounds. Some of them have been victims. Look at the victims. Right here, man. Look at the people. Where is it at? Right here. Right here. Right there. Look at the people that you've triggered and further victimized with your talk of SA on here, man. Let me tell you what. Don's not been so much as interviewed about any of these. Not one. I had a trigger warning video yesterday or the day, but that was a different scenario, right? That's a case we're actually going to get handled, right? Now, what I want to talk about for a minute is Don B and his threats. I can't imagine threatening someone's life and their children because someone reached into your life and took some information you gave them and they made justice happen. If someone reached into my life and made justice happen that hadn't happened for my child, I'd be ecstatic. Upon every grand rising, I would thank you, Don, on my knees for making sure that you love children enough that you take care of mine, right? Don, if I had something like that going on in my life that I was irresponsible to take care of, I would not threaten the person that brought justice to the front door. I would say, thank you, Benny. I was not man enough to bring justice for my own son. You did. I told you these things in the first 3 minutes of fucking talking to you because they've been right here for so long that the first time I get around a real man, I gotta spill it. Because I know a real man will bring this shit, and he'll bring this shit to who needs to know, and he'll also bring the justice back. And that's what I've done. I brought the justice to Don's door. Don is threatening me because I brought the justice to his door. Don, what are you hiding? Why are you mad, sir? You should be mad at no other than you and your wife for concealing and suppressing a sexual assault against your own child. Hoo-ah? Hoo-ah. So, hopefully we're all blessed, like Ghost Ninja said. We're all blessed. But we are different. We are very different. Okay? How would you know, Rand? How would you know? Huh? You don't know. You're just talking. You're just out the side of right here. Somebody take care of that comment. Actually, yeah, you're just out of here, Rand. I don't even want you around, man. Or ma'am, whatever. Block user. Somebody block her, man. It's not letting me. Anyways, guys, when we lose our way, how do we find it again? When we lose our way, where do we go to find our way again? Well, so many of us don't ever get lost because of this. This right here keeps us from getting lost. What keeps us from getting lost right there in our heart space? What keeps us from getting lost? Many of us operate on our own free will and think that we have complete control of all of everything. We even have control over Don's life when he doesn't. Hey, my seasons. Right? We believe that we are the omnipotent. Each one of us, we travel through life thinking we are the omnipotent, and we only go to God when we're in the foxhole and the bullets are whizzing over. Fling, fling. Like that's the only time. And then we're like, oh God, guess what? You could lead Aleister Crowley to the guillotine, who was the most infamous devil worshiper ever. And before you put his head on that blade, he's going to pray to God, not his Satan, right? It's built into us, right? Slam your finger in the door. Oh, my God. What does God have to do with that? What does God have to do with you slamming your finger in the door? Huh? Or, you're pounding nails. Bink! And you hit the wrong nail. You hit this nail. Not this nail. This nail. And you're like, God damn it! What does God have to do with you swinging that hammer and hitting your own nail? God don't have nothing to do with that. Forgive me. God doesn't have nothing to do with that. That's all you. Had you prayed before you picked up that hammer, that God would instill a precision, right? And a confidence and an ability to swing that hammer and hit the right fucking nail. But we don't. We said, oh, I've done this before. I don't need God's help. Right? I've done this before. I don't need God's assistance. I don't need, guess what? We know where we're going when we put the fucking GPS on most of the time. Right? We know where we're going. Why do we put it on? Well, some of us put it on so we can have the convenience factor of knowing when there's traffic ahead of us that wasn't there or we can't see. So we'd like to reroute the traffic, right? When this has a hard time finding its way, what does it do? It reroutes. What do we do when we have a hard time finding our way? We reroute. But when this thing sends you in a circle, do we stop and say, Christ, I can't find my way. Would you please show me the right direction? Put the directions in my mind now, sir, Jesus. Give me something, a sign that I know which way to go. We don't do that. We just drive around in a circle that this fucking thing tells us to keep going in, right? Right? Yeah, that's what happens. Right? We want to go to YouTube to find out the answers to everything, right? You want to know why? Because we want the answer in our time. God answers prayers in one of three ways. Yes, no, and in my time. We always want things in 5G speed in our time. Don't you know that my God, he must be 6G because he's so much faster than this phone. When he decides that it is a worthy situation to have it, to have a finality on our time, that's a beautiful thing. Don't you know God's in the business of handling things on our time? Hoo-ah? Now, look what happens when we don't get it in our time or he says no. We go out there under our own volition, our own accord, and try to get it for ourselves. And then we come back with bruised and battered hands. Right? A tattered heart. Because now we're bitter. It must be God's fault that we can't find summer. Must be God's fault that the internet is doing all of this stuff to Don. Some of us think that the YouTube's a bigger force than Jesus, so why is Don hiding behind Jesus? He should hide behind the YouTube. But is there anyone on YouTube strong enough, empowered enough, confident enough, educated enough, knowledgeable enough, motivated enough for that family to hide behind and be safe? Is there? No. Not me, not Cher, not Mark, not no one. Because we are all humans, Don, and we will fail you. You know this. It doesn't matter how much we try to obtain the appearance of our maker. It doesn't matter how much we try to force ourselves to walk in that path. Right? There's no degrees for sin in heaven. Doesn't matter if you stole a lighter or stole someone's kid. Everyone has the chance to repent. Everyone has the chance to cleanse their soul with the blood of Christ. Hoo-ah? The worst go to fucking prison. They find God. And I told Don that, and he said, that's where I found God. I said, that's where I found God. We don't know what he's been charged with. We don't know his parole date. We don't even know his max out date. We don't know his, we don't know his fucking inmate number, but he's in there. He is in there, and everyone is going to find him. People don't go to prison and find the devil, do they? Never have you heard someone come out of the joint and say, I found Satan in the clink. Never. They come out of there and they say, I found Jesus. Now, let me tell you what 90% of people do when they walk out them doors. They put a trash can right there. You want to know what a lot of people do? The first thing they throw away is that Bible. They keep all them fancy envelopes that they paid to get their partners to draw and all the letters and all the lowrider nudie pictures and stuff, but they throw that Bible away first thing. Right? What for? That Bible got you through hell to where you could hit that door and get clean, free air. Why would you throw away the cheat code? Banjo, it doesn't matter how we feel about it. It's what the Bible says. There's no degree in sin. So it doesn't matter if you cast a stone or you murder your neighbor. It's the same. There's not a different repentance for those. That's the deal. The forgiveness, the way you ask for forgiveness for two completely different things is the same. That's why there's no degree in sin. Think about it. There's no felony, first degree, second degree, class A, class B, class C. There's no controlled substances in heaven. Nothing. So, losing our way only to find it again. Is that right? Is that right? There are people on here. There are people on here that are so disgusting in their soul that they come here to comment and hide behind profiles that's not theirs. They don't ever put their fucking face out there. You don't know who these people are, and the addiction is the feel good that they get from making someone momentarily feel like they feel. Who are? Fucking A. AB, if you're that fucking miserable, Benny's got a strong back. I can carry you for 10 fucking years and never say a word to you other than this right here. Guess what? And tough don't cost a dime either. You think God don't have his fingers and all kinds of stuff? Let me tell you what, basketball players, before and after they score, boom. Football players, same thing. God has an interest in all of it. All of it. God even has an interest in the death penalty, right? Because do you want to know who holds the leg or the arm sometimes of someone that did not get exonerated? And who's the last person they talk to? Fucking chaplain. Right? Chaplain. That's why when you die, and if it's not specified that you're a believer in Satan, you automatically get a cross on your headstone. Fuck. Jesus is even designed into the software that makes headstones. Jesus has his finger in every industry. Jesus has his finger in this situation right now. And if you don't believe that, then guess what? You've been swayed by the devil. And you've been swayed by the mouths and the words of other people here that have no interest in my God. My God would not have these people doing these things that they're doing. Who is the last person a death row inmate wants to talk to? It ain't his mama. It ain't his daddy. It's the chaplain, because most of them want to make sure they feel confident before they get strapped down to the thing that this is just momentary. The next 4 minutes don't mean nothing. When you wake up, you're in the promised land. Okay? God does care more of your heart than your deeds too much, but he judges us by our deeds, right? You can also be judged for having envy, jealousy, being greedy, being gluttonous. These are for the most part, invisible emotions that have an outward physical side effect, right? So come on, guys. Where do we go when we want to find our way again? Huh? Have you ever been in a car in this fucking thing right here? You weren't going far. And this thing right here was all jacked up and it sent you in the wrong direction over and over and over. And then by the time you got there or you figured out you were stuck for real, you're like, damn, I could have here faster. Me, happens all the time. I live in Dallas. We got 8 million people that live in DFW. 10 million. All the time. I'm like, damn, it took me 30 minutes to go 3/4 of a mile. I could have walked that or jogged it in about 6 or 8 minutes. That's the power, right? That's the power. You want to know what? Some researchers one time, they polled children and adults with one question. They said, and they sat the adults down next to the children, and they said, okay, imagine an 18-wheeler who is an inch too tall, 2 inches too tall, goes under a bridge and gets stuck. How do you get it out? So they start asking all the adults. The adults came up with crazy fucking elaborate shit like you fly a helicopter and you got to cut the bridge on both sides and then lift the bridge up, and then and then another one said just pull it out the other side. Another one said it just on and on, the most complicated shit. You want to know what the children said? Let the air out of the tires. Who knew? Let the fucking air out of the tires. The truck will come down and you can slide it right out because it's only 2 inches tall and the tire is 3 or 4. Adults need front, back, and an extra piece of paper to explain why the hell letting the fucking air out of the tires is too much like right? Because as adults in America, if something's tore up, it's better that it be all the way fucking tore up, because we have this thing, this itch inside of us when we see something that we personally feel on our standards isn't fucked up enough. We got to bring it there, right? We got to bring it there. Somebody said, every day people text me or email me or call me and they're like, oh, this is a problem. I said, it's not the problem, but it'll sure work until the real problem gets here, won't it? This will be a grand substitute for when the real problem gets here, right? There's no reason why every single creator didn't make or hasn't made a plea to the person that has this child. Why don't they? You want to know why? Because if they do a plea for Summer and it was Cher's idea, that's too much like working with Cher. We're not working together for Summer. We're working together for clicks, views, super chats, and subscribers. So God forbid we look like we're helping Cher in a culture of making hundreds of pleas instead of hundreds of fucking bullshit videos. Man, I done had enough of this shit, man. I have had enough. I have had enough. These people here, you can't even create friendships under the ideology that I'm not going to look up Cam's past. I'm not going to look up Cher's past or Mark's past, because guess what? It doesn't fucking matter to me. Just like Don's past doesn't matter to me. When it's a crisis in America and we need to form a line of people that can carry a rock from the front all the way to the back, YouTube could never clear rubble. We could never save a life, ever. Because you can't stand AB next to Benny and expect AB to hand Benny a rock in order to ultimately clear some shit at the end, because AB doesn't want to handle the rock that goes to Benny. Or AB doesn't want to hand the rock to Cher. Can't you see that us, we're completely open to having everyone work together, but that's the problem. All of this shit is crowd pleasing. The bashing that you see, these people don't come out of the womb doing that shit. They come on here and they do something a little bit out of character and they get a lot of attention. And so now there's a motivation to keep creating scenarios that you get a feel-good release for when you fuck Don and his family over. So there's no motivation to stop doing these things. There's only motivation to continue on driving AB and driving so-and-so and driving them to put out the most next salacious, nefarious piece of fucking media. Now, how would you guys feel, content creators, if I found out who your kids are? Very easy to do, because you idiots put it every fucking where. So what if I find out about your kids? I start making videos about them. And I just act like just the most nastiest Benny that you guys have ever seen while I'm talking about some of your kids, creators. What are you going to do? Oh, Chris M doesn't like what Benny says online, so he's going to get a lawyer. Well, get you a fucking lawyer, bud. Who gives a shit? Take it. It's just worldly anyways. This man wants to be the deity of all flesh walkers. He thinks he's got the right to call a police department and have Benny's First Amendment rights silenced. Sir, you can perform fellatio on 87 farm goats. I don't give a shit. Fuck you, you pussy. You're only tough on the fucking people that you think that you can fuck over. You know you can't fuck me over. You'd have tried. You know I know the law better than you. I'm not even a detective, you fucking dumbass. I can reasonably know that the 14th Amendment is applied when interviewing a fucking teenager. You fucking reptile. Your wife, too. Yeah, your wife cleans the reptile cage. Fuck you mean. Facts. Facts. Chasen. Where the fuck do you go and find your fucking way before you come on this internet and tear that fucking family up? Where do you go get your inspiration? Tell me. Where do you get your inspiration? Who made you a god to tell Don that he's hiding behind his God? Guess what? That's what we do as Christians. We hide behind our God. That's right. Guess what? It said that God would give us a full frontal armor. You want to know why? You want to know why he leaves the back exposed on the full frontal armor? Because he's already got your back. Who knew? Who knew? Warriors can run faster and fight harder with half of the armor on because they don't need it for the back. God's got that part. Well, shit. Who do you get your inspiration from? Huh? Joe Rogan? Who? Rush Limbaugh? Who? Alex Cooper? Who? Who do you get your inspiration from? Who do you thank for what you know about today? Who'd you thank for today? This out here. Who did you thank for the sunlight today? I know a whole bunch of y'all didn't thank nobody. Nobody. You think you got all of this because you did it. Not because God chose you to have these things. Man, I don't know. I'll make a promise right now. We need this baby home. We need the baby home now. I need the baby home too because I'm ready to quit this shit. This fucking YouTube is a bunch of horse shit. And you want to know what? If I want to fucking entertain sodomites, I'll go get me a job at the fucking jail. Hoo-ah? That's it. If I want to be around a bunch of dumb fucks that are junkies and drunks, man, I'll go work at the fucking jail. You understand me? Read this shirt. Read that shirt. What y'all about to go do? What are you about to go do? Tell you what I'm about to go do. Get busy. The fuck? Man, I love all of y'all, man. You know that. Seriously, guys. Like, this is not a fight that I can win. I can't win this fight. As soon as I try to help Don or talk to Don, like, it's going to be CPS at my house tenfold than what I ever had for 33 cases from dealing with Monica Sherrod. We was getting 10 and 12 a day. I've not received not one CPS complaint. Now, that doesn't mean they're not calling. But see, I'm now on this special status with the CPS where if somebody calls in and says anything about Benny in regards to behavior, they know that they know the terms of service of YouTube. This is entertainment, right? That's what protects us from looking like fucking real crazy motherfuckers. And it's for entertainment, right? So yeah, I can come on here and act, just crazed with compassion, and then got to convince these people that when I come off, that's not really who I am. I'm just putting on a show for online, right? That's all. Got to lie to the CPS people and say, no, I'm not really this compassionate about all this. Because if you tell them you're actually this compassionate about all this shit, well, now they got to feel like they got a reason to dip in and start saying, well, they always want, well, what medicine are you on? Or what is this? And I said, man, look here, I take a couple of antidepressant pills and I smoke weed like a broke stove. That's my medicine, right? There has been an update, guys. I have a consult with a new surgeon on September 27th at 2:15. And hopefully this surgeon, it's already, the consult is just, it's just a formality, right? So I'm looking at having this surgery really soon, guys. And I am really excited about having this brain surgery because for some people, this brain surgery, they call it, it's like the reset, right? Like things that you've been dealing with, trying to figure out how to adjust around certain problems in life that are due to my brain issue. It's like, it's a reset. And so I'm very excited about this surgery and the potential ramifications for my life. I really am. So, guys, remember, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence, right? Just because there's no evidence that makes it look a certain way doesn't mean something has or hasn't happened, right? I mean, fuck, man. It's just like this revolving fucking thing. Like every case, it enters these stages that happen like on cue. These things are living, breathing things, kind of like, and they require certain things that they all require. They all require bashing of victims. They all require fake media texts, so on and so forth. They all require a massive amount of negativity. And what we haven't seen yet that I believe is going to be an added portion of the protocol is a crowdsourced suicide. Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that just fucking be grand? Yeah. Don. Fuck yeah, man. Yeah. Just fucking, just reach your end, reach your threshold now, cap yourself, and then that way the whole internet could see, he was guilty. He killed himself because he did something to his daughter, not because there's 500,000 fucking dumbasses on here threatening his family, fucking with his job, and playing around with his freedom. Thank you, NH girl. I have an Arnold Chiari formation, which means that the hole in the back of my skull here, my brain is falling out. So I've got to have what's called a decompression, where they cut from here down and they open it up and they cauterize the portion of brain that's hanging out. They burn it off. And so anyways, Melly Mel, good morning, lovely. Guys, that's all I got this morning. That's probably all I'm going to have all day. I'm just so sick. Literally, I mean, I wake up in the morning and I rush straight here to find out what's going on, right? I mean, I rush straight here to find out, right? Why? Why, Benny? Why do you rush straight here? Because you can text the man anytime you want. Why do you come here? I'll tell you why. Because instead of listening to My God About Don, I'm listening to fucking Unmasked. I'm listening to fucking AB, Don B, True Crime, Rocket Science, Chris McDonough shit. I'm listening to cops who have a real commitment to keeping the real offenders out of jail, who have a real track record of fucking over the wrong people, putting them in jail, while the real offender is allowed to continue on offending until someone grander than McDonough shit is able to come in and say, whoa, bub, you put the finger of God in this thing and fucked it all up. What I look like now right here, as opposed to about 80 fucking days ago, is 30 years. 30 years. Anyways, I love all of you individually. Please like, share, subscribe. If you don't like it, hit the thumbs down. Who gives a shit, right? Don't send me no money because I don't want it. I just want the support. I just want you to help support this family, guys. This is what I want. This is my true motivation. What the hell am I lying for? This is my motivation. Where are you going? Can I do what? That water bottle. Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. Technology and the Texas Heat, they ain't on the same team. New MacBook just overheated. That's probably not good. Oh. Look at that. Tell me it ain't work out here in this Texas Heat to try to be a believer and do something good out here. Right? And take a minute and just answer a couple of... Oh, yeah. Sorry. The overheating. Look at that. Golly. Benny Keys. He's a real Johnny Hustle. Look here. So my real motivation, guys, is this petition, right? This petition is key. It's critical, right? The very hard thing about this petition is that this petition, although that it's good, people can't see. They're like, oh, no, we can't do this. I'm not going to sign this because I want to be able to go look at A.B. fuck cases up involving children for the next 20 years. I want to see Chris M. do it. I want to see True Crime Rocket Science. I want to see Don B. with his essay suppressing ass. I want to see these guys really fuck up people that have lost their children from here on out. So guess what? Benny Keys ain't going to play. I'm not playing. I'm done with this shit. But what I want, this is my real intention right here. My real intention. You guys, if you're a content creator and you did a plea, share this message. Don't be scared. If you're a hustler, you're a hustler. You got other ways to get money by fucking up people other than fucking up people online. Right? Get you another hustle, right? Sell you some weed. Bootleg you some fucking CDs. Bootleg some alcohol. I don't care. Sell single cigarettes. But stop fucking around with these cases with these kids online. This. Disgusting. 13-2. Why'd you even come fucking look at it? It's not easily accessible. You got to go through a few motions just to come over here and decide you don't want to be a part of this shit. Then why the fuck 12,240 people come over to look at some shit they don't want to be a part of? I'll tell you why, because you motherfuckers ain't shit. That's why. Anyways, man, I'm out of here, guys. Have a Sorry, guys. So yeah, it's really time. I don't know. This is a brand new Mac. I don't want to burn this bitch up. It just, I had it outside on the car that was hot and got the whole bottom side ready to cook fish. So anyways, guys, man, that's all I got today, man. Thank you all for hanging out with me while I vent, and thank you all for supporting me. Thank you all for supporting me, because I'm under the assumption that if you're assuming supporting me, I assume that you are supporting that family as well, because you know, a lot of people are like, "What have you done?" Well, I started a petition. I've done a lot, actually. A whole lot more than just be a professional commenter, right? Anyways, guys, I got to go. Love you guys. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Peace.